Welcome back everyone to our gameplay series of Farming Simulator 17. So we're back on our Lone Oak farm map, and you can see there is a flurry of activity all across the map. We'll pull up the map right quick and you can see we've got dots everywhere. We've got combines and tippers running around like crazy because it is the beginning of our harvest cycle. So the harvest cycles diverge a little bit between our grass and silage operation, which right now consists of fields 31, 36, and 37 to varying degrees for 36 and 37. But the timing of how the grass grows versus our other crops' growth time means that these cycles are broken up just a little bit from time to time. And right now, I have already harvested all of the grass that I intend to harvest this time. And you can see we didn't quite harvest very much of 37, and that was basically for time purposes as I worked on tweaking some things on field 36 and 37. But all of our wheat fields are now in full swing. You can see we've got tippers going every which direction, headed over actually right here in order to unload. We just had our selling route took place just a few moments ago. That guy left out in the tractor trailer rig. So all of that is going on. And again, looking in the bottom left hand corner, you can see lots and lots of activity. And that's important because toward the end of our last video, we had some issues with that. We had some issues where Courseplay started acting up and I was experiencing a drop in frame rate and that kind of thing. And I had an idea of what the most likely cause of that was. So after doing some testing, I figured out, as best I can tell, the problem was with the AI extension mod. And the reason I believe the issue was with that is because that particular mod, unlike Courseplay, it uses a lot of computations continuously. It is continuously monitoring for the edge of the field, the edge of the previously worked area, that kind of thing. So it uses a lot of computations, and I was using multiple combines on that mod, and I think it just sort of overpowered things. Again, that's my best guess. So what we're using now is fully Courseplay, because Courseplay doesn't have to do those computations except for one time when you're creating the course. After that, they're simply running from waypoint to waypoint, and that's all you have to deal with. So very little computational issue related to Courseplay in that respect. So once you get past creating your different routes for the fields, then you're good to go in Courseplay. So everything has been running without a hitch. Hopefully that will continue, but we're going to do some things a little bit different in today's video. Normally I like to start off the videos by letting you guys know all of the changes since our last video. And as this series moves along and we continue to expand, I mean, just take a look at this map. We've got a lot of things going on. There's a lot of equipment that is in use. In fact, there's some equipment sitting over here that's not in use right now. But we've got so much equipment, and I write down everything that I purchase in between episodes to let you guys know. But we're getting so far that I can't really just show you everything we're purchasing. So we're going to hit the high points here. As we are expanding, I have now managed to purchase enough. If we take a look at the map, each of our wheat fields, all 4 of them, now have their own dedicated tipper and combine. So I'm able to work all 4 of these fields at the same time. Of course, we have our combine working corn on field 34. We've also purchased field 28, and I've actually split it up. We'll take a look at that here in just a moment. But field 28 is also planted with corn. So right now I don't have a dedicated combine for it, but that's okay. That's going to be one of my next purchases, and then we'll be able to work literally every field that we want at the same time if we so desire, and in most cases we do. So right now our grass cycle is a little bit off from our other crops and their growth time. So I've already done the grass fields. They're done for now. And so That means we can head over to our silage silo or silage bunker, depending on what you normally call it, and you can see that we are currently fermenting silage, which 79%, so we're not quite ready to empty it out. And this is one of the most exciting things about the gameplay for me so far is in our last video, you guys saw one of the iterations that I have of this particular area, and the silage operation. I was trying to get it as close to fully automated as I could, and I have finally made it there. I'm done tweaking with it, and in fact, in the gameplay you're going to see here toward the end of this video, you're going to see that silage operation in action. So right now you're seeing this. In fact, this tractor is already loaded up, and he is running that particular route. So as soon as we begin loading silage, he'll be ready to take it to the BGA to be sold. So in the footage you're going to see toward the end of the video, you're going to see these guys all set up, and you're going to see that operation as close to fully automated as I can get. The only part that's not fully automated is the fact that at some point I have to move the belts and move them further into the bunker, simply because all of the silage is being emptied. But other than that, it can run completely on its own, and that's ultimately where I wanted to be. The other huge change we've got is over here at the pig farm. So I had mentioned that I was looking to get into pigs at some point. Well, I decided to go ahead and make that happen. Now, the good news is I really like working with the animals in farming sim games. I really like doing that. I really enjoy doing it. But the problem with it is that it takes so much money to purchase the animals to get started. So that's sort of what we're going through right now, some growing pains related to that. Let's actually move over and take a look at our animals. You can see right now we have 180 pigs. We're running just under 50% productivity because I'm not bringing any straw over here. So we're feeding entirely corn, and that's coming from field 34 right now. It doesn't take very much to get to where we need to be. I'll set up my cleanup operation here momentarily and take care of that. But that's where we are on the pigs right now, and I'm going to continue to let them grow so they're not and multiply, so they're not going to give us any income for a little while, because I really want to build up a lot of pigs because we have plenty of corn for them, and I think it'll be a good way to make a lot of money later on. But again, it is not a fully matured industry for us just yet. We're still growing our number of pigs. So over here you can see my belts, which will ultimately I will put over here to take care of the cleaning, since we are no longer feeding these guys. The other thing that I decided to do, and you may have noticed this already on the map or the mini map, is I have purchased field number 29. And the reason I did that is because this field is really too small for our purposes of trying to have a productive use for it as far as planting crops on it. So what I decided to do is I was looking for a spot to get into the renewable energy. And this seemed like a great location because it's fairly central to our, and very nearby to our main farm area. So this looked like a great place to put out, maybe, eventually have a row of solar panels here, and then at some places on the map I plan on putting some wind turbines. All that's down the road, but I wanted to go ahead and get one out here just because I like the optics, I like the visual of these things, and I enjoy having them around the map. Again, everything that I can do to make this map feel more alive, I really like. And so this is one of the things that just spruces up the environment for me. But again, everything is going well. Over here you can see how I have split up field number 28. This is now a parking area, and when our implements for field 34 as well as field 30 over here, and then eventually field 28, when they're all loaded in here, they take up quite a bit of area. And I may ultimately put some vehicle storage over here, but we'll see how that goes. Again, I've got a lot of plans, and things are going along quite nicely. At this point in the gameplay, I am extremely excited about how things are going. So the gameplay footage you are about to see is actually footage that I had recorded on the previous game day. And the reason I decided to do that, it wasn't my initial plan. I had planned to show you guys footage like I normally do, live as we're talking and discussing what's going on. But something interesting happened to me yesterday during the game day. As all the harvesting was going on, I was just sort of sitting by and watching all of the different routes and how they were interacting with each other, and the flow of work in general, because that is huge with so many different moving parts and pieces on the map at one time. I wanted to make sure everything was working out and see where I might need to make some tweaks. And I had a moment while it was happening where I just sat back and I realized things are working and I don't need to tweak. The silage was working. The loading and unloading of the silage bunker was loading and happening perfectly and without me having to deal with it. All of the routes for the harvesters and for the tippers, all of that was working just fine. Our silos, if we come back over and take a look at where we are, our silos were filling up. And again, work was just going great, so I decided that I wanted to record that gameplay. So what you're going to see here in a few moments, without any commentary from me, you're just going to be able to sit back, relax, and enjoy the sights and sounds of all of the work that is currently being done on the farm. You're going to get to see the combines, you're going to get to see the tippers, and then toward the very end of the video, you're going to see the silage operation and the selling of the silage in full effect as we are making the money. So you can see in the top right hand corner, we're at 163,000 already. That's, I believe, 2 trips. As we head back to the map, yes, there we go. That's now, I believe, 2, maybe even 3 trips by our tractor trailer rig to sell wheat so far. And you can see we've still got quite a bit of wheat to be sold, but things are moving along great. And I had just one of those moments that told me this is how it's supposed to work. This was what I had in mind when I started the series. So now it makes me feel better about expanding and purchasing more fields and doing more work. So I was very happy with where things are, and I'm pretty ecstatic at this point that the series has gone as well as it has. So I know we're going to have more bumps and bruises ahead. I wouldn't expect anything less because, as I've mentioned before, anything worth doing is worth fighting for and worth working hard for. So I definitely don't mind the aggravations and the bumps and bruises that we have along the way. But for now, I'm going to leave it here as far as my commentary. Thank you very much for joining me. And now just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sights and sounds of Farming Simulator 17.